Thank you. Yes, we want to thank Caleb for his relentless effort over the last couple of years. Um, we made a decision yesterday to depart with him, and again, we want to thank him for all his contributions over the last 2 years. And now I open it up to any questions for you.
Frank?
Curt, Caleb believed this team was very close to turning the corner. So, do you agree with that? And what's needed to make the next step?
I do agree with that. We have a roster that's been assembled that has underperformed in terms of results. So, we feel like we have a team that should be farther up in the standings, and we're not. So, it's a results-oriented business, and that's why we had to make the change.
I'll follow up on that. So, it seemed like Caleb did a lot of the right things in rebuilding that roster. What was missing, though? What does the next coach need to do to make this a contending team?
We need to win our home games. It's pretty simple. If you look at our record, our away record was solid. If we had just, if we had a better home record, we wouldn't be having this press conference. It's a results-oriented business, and we have to find a way to win games at home. Our fans deserve it. The organization deserves it, and that's a major focus for us. We have to have good home form. If you have good home form, you're now become a winning team, and now you can start talking about things that are beyond just being a winning team. Talk is cheap. I'm not sitting here, we're talking about winning championships. We need to win games at home. Once we start doing that, and we can continue with the road form, all of a sudden we start talking about, okay, how do we make the next step to be able to win a championship? And our home form has not been good over the last 2 years, and this year especially.
Curt,
Angel Saucedo?
when we met here in this room a month ago, the tone you had struck was one of conviction in what Caleb was doing. Did something change significantly over the course of the last month to make this decision happen in the middle of the season versus something happening at the end of the season?
My job as sporting director, especially I've been a head coach in the league, so I know what coaches need, and they need support. They're hard jobs. They just are. Coaching has a lot of variables. So in my time with Caleb, I gave him the support and everything possible for him to be able to succeed. So that's the conviction you always see. I also had conviction about us still being a team that wasn't good enough at home. And that is still the point of emphasis and a big reason for the change.
And I asked you this question a month ago as well. I want to know about it feels like a loop. If you lose at home, the atmosphere is going to gradually get worse, so it's harder to win at home. What do you guys need to do as a unit to change that around? Because it feels like a negative loop.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. That's life, right? How do you get out of the loop? And the way to make change is just to take more risk and to be more aggressive. Because if you think about it, right? 3 more wins. So 3 ties. That could be 3 plays. It could be 2 saves, 1 save. It could be a couple chances that you make. All of a sudden, we're not in this situation. So the margins are thin. So in my role, it's important to stay even-keeled, to be positive, and to support, and to do whatever I can to help the coach be successful, the organization to be successful. And the way to do that is to be steady. Now, I'm just as upset as everybody else is. I want to win. We have, in a lot of ways, our club is thriving, but we have not gotten the results that we need to get. And in this business, you have to make change. And those are hard changes. Caleb he's a good man, and he put a lot of time and effort into him, and I've become very close to him. So they're not easy decisions.
Hayden Burt?
Given the results at the club over the last 2 years, which has coincided with your tenure as sporting director, and given that Caleb has now been removed from his role, forgive me for being blunt, but I guess why should you be allowed to continue in your role?
That's that's a question for other people. I would say that we've assembled each window, we've assembled better players, and that's my job, and that's something that I can control. This past window, we added Matt Turner, best goalkeeper in the league, who was bought for $8 million, and we got him for free. So for me, that's my job. Those are the things that I can control and do whatever I can to support the coach to be successful. So that's how I would answer your question.
We'll go to Sam.
I guess kind of following up on that, just what have your conversations been like with kind of those above you, Brian below, ownership, about kind of your role in the future of the club?
Again, I'm the sporting director of this team until I'm not. And my focus is being steady. I've been through a lot in my life. This is not the most difficult thing that I've dealt with in my life. And it's easy for people on the outside to point the finger and say what they would do and this and that and all this. And that's all part of it. And that's the way it should be, because it's professional athletics, right? But I'm very optimistic about the roster, about this club and where we're going. And it's just, when it turns, it turns. And so I steadfastly believe in our future.
Take one from Jeff Lemieux.
Curt, the task in front of you right now is finding a new head coach. So how quickly does that process begin, and what does that process look like?
The process began yesterday. And so now it's time to assemble the list, which we began doing that, but it's obviously been a very busy couple days. And then we will do a thorough search to find the right person, the right coach to lead us to where we want to be.
Yep.
I guess what kind of conversations have you had both with Pablo for the remaining of the season and also with Captain Carlos Gil over just the state of the team and what you're looking for in the final 4 games of the year?
I just want to end the season strong. It's that simple. Pablo has a different approach than Caleb. They're obviously worked together for years, and our goal is just to end the season strong.
Okay. We'll go Sam and then back to Frank here.
And I guess just in terms of, the next head coach, just what do you feel are maybe important characteristics or an archetype of a head coach that you feel this team kind of needs to be successful?
Needs to know how to win at home.
Frank?
Well, Curt, I was going to ask sort of a similar question. It seemed like Caleb had many of the qualities that you were looking for in a coach, and including a track record for winning MLS Cups. So, is there a profile you'll be looking for?
We're gonna now that the decision is made, we are gonna spend an enormous amount of time profiling and getting exactly our credentials in terms of what we want and characteristics for our next head coach. And so with time, we will come up with that. And the one thing I will say, I'm very confident. There's good candidates out there, and we'll find a good coach for us.
Angel?
You said take more risk when I had asked you about what goes into changing your home record. From your perspective, that could be different signings. The signing of Dor Churchman stands out to me as maybe not a risk, but a big signing. On the pitch, or is that what you're referencing there? Take more risk on the pitch tactically, like be more attacking, or are you talking about off the field decisions?
I think when we play at home, we have to go for it more. We have to play in the other team's end more. We have to put teams under pressure, that type of stuff when I talk about risk.
Okay. I'm going to take a couple on the Zoom, and then we'll go back to the room. I have Julian Cardillo with the Boston Herald. Julian?
Hey, Curt, thanks for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, just in terms of timing of when you want to make this move, is this something that's going to happen shortly after the regular season, do you think, or is this sort of a holiday season type move?
We're going to try to get a coach. We're going to get a coach in when we found the right person and we're able to get him in. I don't exactly have the timeline at this particular juncture.
Our next question on the Zoom will go to Charlie Boehm with MLS Soccer.
Hey, Curt, thanks for your time. Just to follow on what you said earlier about going for it and putting teams under pressure, do you think this roster is set up to play a certain way? Or are you going to find a coach who wants to make who can make the most of what you have, or is this going to be an off-season rebuild?
We feel like we've assembled a much improved roster, and one that should be farther up in the standings and one that should be in contention for playoffs. So in part of the search, it'll be important for the new head coach that would be coming in to have a good feel and like our roster. So there'll be some of those conversations. But like anything, whenever you have a new head coach, there's going to be changes, and we know that.
Anything else in the room, folks? We'll go to Hayden and then one for Emma over here.
So just given all of the changes to the roster in the last offseason, did you feel coming into this season, would you have characterized this as a playoff roster, a playoff-worthy roster?
Like I said, we assembled a roster that's much improved. That should be a playoff team. We believe that.
And what is it about this roster as well, beyond their tactical skill that gives you the confidence in them to, go through these changes and, continue to play strong through this?
Yeah, I mean, in life you have difficult moments, and that's when you kind of find out what people are made of. It's easy when everything's going great. So we feel like there's good character, there's good leadership, and a lot of quality, and we believe in the group, and we'll continue like every window to make the team better.
Other than yourself, will anyone else be involved in the process of finding this replacement coach, or is it just solely you and to Chris Tierney, and who else would be involved in this process?
It's our front office is in charge of that, Caleb. It's a very simple question, and of course that's I spearhead it. I have Chris Tierney and Remy Roy that can help me, and then when you have to get ownership involved and the president. It's just what every team deals with. It's a very simple process.
We're going to take a couple questions in Spanish now. We'll go to Omar Cabrera and then Jesus Quiñones on the Zoom.
Curt, una temporada sumamente difícil.
Sí.
¿Qué podemos esperar para esos próximos 4 partidos y qué podemos esperar también de Pablo?
Sí, pues Pablo es un muy buen entrenador y él sabe bien el equipo, y nosotros estamos en la mentalidad de terminar la temporada muy fuerte por todos los jugadores individuales, colectivo como un club y también para la afición.
Gracias.
Okay. Go to Jesus Quiñones from Telemundo. Jesus?
Hola Kurt, ¿cuál es el mensaje a la afición que quizás pedía este cambio hace tiempo y ahora lo están haciendo cuando parece ser demasiado tarde?
Pues hace cuenta como en un juego de 90 minutos, si necesitas jugar el siguiente 45 minutos, ¿no? Puedes estar perdiendo el juego en el primer tiempo, pero ganas en el segundo tiempo. Nosotros como un club sentimos que tuvimos que dar toda la oportunidad a Caleb de hacer el chance de ganar. Y por eso pasamos este tiempo de hacer la decisión de decir adiós.
Before we wrap up, are there any additional questions here in the room, Curt? We'll go back to Hayden Bird.
Just one more. Do you have a message to fans at this particular time, difficult moment in the club's history?
I would just say I'm still very optimistic, and they should be as well. We have great fans. We actually continue to build our fan base, our ticket sales group here. I meet with them daily. I shouldn't say daily, weekly. We have meetings, and I hear about the hard work that's being put in there, and our fan base continues to grow. And as that continues to grow and the results continue to come and our home record gets better, we'll be in situations where these conversations are more positive than they are right now.
If that's all we have in the room, then we'll wrap up there. Curt, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kurt.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.